First, I decided to pick this module because I wanted to do some practical work, and also because I thought it could be a module that it could be more experimental and would force you to deal like with obstacles. This wasn't my most personal film because I made basic. I had to make a film with sound and image not matching. I wanted to show how is to live in a bubble, not being aware, but kind of ignoring what, running away of my country, running away of reality and living my chilled life. I made this film in one day. I went out with my flatmate and I shoot basically in my neighborhood. So I went out drinking, I went to Starbucks, all this to show basically how I live. It was kind of improvised. I was creating as I was going along, just basically what's my routine, my daily life. And then I used the sound in contradiction. I picked the sound out from Al Jazeera, and because I wanted to show the violence, the fight and the traffic, the drug dealing, all the problems that we have here in Brazil. The ending of the film, I wanted to show someone smoking marijuana, because I think this end is quite strong, because show the contradiction, like we smoke weed without being aware, but like without thinking where these come from, where did you get it from, and all the problems that happen because of that. I believe the film worked quite well because it was a very honest film. I really put my feelings and my position with this situation. When I first read that I had to do a film in only one take about culturalism and silent, and the first thing I thought, oh my god, what I'm gonna do. But then I was for 3 days at home without going out, and the weather was horrible, and I had nothing to do outside, so I just stayed in, bored. And then I realized those 3 days I was the whole time on Facebook and having my whole connection indoor. I was indoors, but having all the connect with the world from my computer screen. So then I decided to make this film because there's nothing more cultural than staying in front of a computer, then you have access to anywhere in the world. So I found that was a bit strange, this thing that life is happening and on these Google Maps, and I don't know, it was quite interesting that you see like the streets and lives going on, and like it's very realistic. So it's interesting that you can be in your house indoors for like in a room, and you can travel to Tokyo, to can go to see my house in Brazil, and all this. You can transport yourself just being inside your room, and you can also communicate via Skype or Facebook with anyone being anywhere. And then I decided to eat a Big Mac, because you can be the same thing. You can be anywhere in the world. There is a Big Mac. No matter if you are in, I don't know, you can be in any big city and have a Big Mac, which is completely universal. And I think with this, we ended up losing the traditions, because food is something very important for the culture of the country, and this thing being kind of destroy, and the globalization kind of like unifies the world. The problem doing this film, I had to shoot actually twice. First time, I took a long time. Like I shoot for like 11 minutes, 12 minutes, and then the camera stopped, and I haven't finished the burger. And my intention was to use the film, the length that I was taking to eat the burger. So the following day, I did another shooting, and then I was more aware of the time. I decided to make this film quite long, because I wanted to show how boring is our life, and how much time we spend in front of the screen, and we stop living our real life. We just become living boring, like in the using the internet, like we lose social connections, like real interactions, real experience. Okay, this film I made in a partnership with my classmate, and I don't know, we didn't want to make a traditional, like a cliche, like a typical human rights film. So we thought about the Perfect Humans film that we watched on the 5 Obstructions on the first day of the module, and it's interesting how the perfect human is portrayed. So it had this idea of make the film exactly, and make like shot by shot the same, to create this thing like copying the film. But and then at some point we start to question what the film is telling us to do. So the narration keeps giving order, and the characters are following those orders, are doing exactly what the narration is saying. So we kind of thought about this narration as a god or a superior power, and then decided to show how passive we are. The characters are really passive. There is no we decided to ask if does exist a perfect human, and what is a perfect human, if there is a perfect human, because our society establishes what we are supposed to be, how we are supposed to behave, and we passively accept that. So the aim of the film was to break with this and question and see our human rights, like our rights to question that, to unfollow the established norms. So we decided to book the studio, and we had when we booked the studio to make this film, we had a problem because it was like the studio was really it was not large enough, and we had to use the mobile phone as well, which we didn't have any lenses, we didn't have the right equipment. But to create, like, because the original film was made in a studio properly, and but so we had to deal with the problem. So we did some, then we did the editing, and then we realized we were missing some shots, so we had to go back to the location and do it some extra shots. I think this film was interesting because it was a different approach to human rights. I think it kind of worked in the way that we used an existed film, and then we kind of deconstruct the film, and we start to question the film, question the film in the film. I think this module was really productive. I'm really glad I got this module because it made me deal with different obstacles. I had to, when you and it forces you to think a lot. Not only, like, it forces you to think about the concept, not that much about film techniques. You have to, basically it's all about the concept, and you have to deal with those problems, like you have to force yourself to think, and sometimes you think, this is impossible, I cannot make this film, and then you just have to find a way to do it in, like, any kind of way, but just do it. I found very inspiring